Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mundane Matt, and I want to talk to you guys today about this whole Trump travel ban, hashtag Muslim ban that's going around right now, and people are losing their fucking minds over it on both sides. People are losing their minds when people are trying to have online discussions about it, so on and so forth. Because I feel while this is definitely part of Trump's plan, what he promised to do, I think it's wholly misguided, and I think that there's a lot of better ways to handle it, and the way they originally handled it is why it's all kind of gone tits up right now. So for those of you who aren't fully aware, a couple days ago, Trump did sign this executive order instituting a travel ban on 7 countries: Iraq, Iran, Sudan, Somalia, Yemen, Libya, and Syria. Right now, those 7 countries are predominantly Muslim faith. Like that's like Syria's got 90%. I believe Yemen is like 50% of Muslim, majority being the predominant religion and predominant culture in these countries. And part of this travel ban said that it would grant certain certain kind of preferences to those of religious minority, therefore trying to essentially skirt its way around the name Muslim ban. But let's be perfectly fucking fair here. When you are targeting a country and you are using its predominant culture as what is technically considered a travel ban, but then saying we'll give some preferential treatment to those of the religious minority in that country, the ones who are of the religious majority are the ones being targeted. And since those countries are predominantly Muslim, it essentially is a Muslim ban. You can't argue around it, and people out there are desperately trying to do so. So this travel ban blocks all Syrian refugees indefinitely and puts a 4-month hold on the other countries while they try to figure out ways for what Trump calls extreme vetting. Never mind the fact that if you want to apply to be a refugee here in the United States, there already is a 2-year vetting process. So it's not like people just kind of show up on Ellis Island, knock on the door, and just go, let me in, I'm a refugee. They don't do that shit. They do that in other countries because of mass migration, all right, throughout Europe and everything else. That's one of the reasons why Germany and Sweden and a bunch of those other countries are having these issues, is because there are people out there that are working their way through the mass migrations of refugees that are coming from Syria and that part of the world. We don't have that problem here. Here, we've got a nice big Atlantic fucking ocean blocking us, or the Pacific on the other side. We're kind of isolated in that regard. And so our vetting process is very different. So this is a situation of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But Trump saying extreme vetting without offering up what's going to constitute extreme vetting is one of the reasons why people are having a lot of problems with this particular situation, myself included. I do not like it. I do not think that this is the proper way to handle this situation, especially in regards to how they initially worded it, where if you have a green card, from that country, you were still banned entry into this country. So what they're basically doing, and they've overturned this, right? They overturned it this morning, so good on them. Backlash helps, I guess. But the initial idea there was that if you are a card-carrying legal resident of the United States, maybe not a citizen, but a permanent legal resident, you are then denied access to a country of which you are a legal permanent resident, which is fucking horseshit. Don't you agree? I mean, you can't not agree. If you've got the green card, if you've gone through the process, you're here, all right? Like, you've been vetted. You're good to go. But they wanted to block that. At least they've changed that. So that's one thing that's good. And I have a feeling they're gonna overturn a lot more of this in the process. They're gonna overturn a lot of this because of how wildly stupid and ineffective this is going to be. It's going to be ineffective for a couple of reasons. One, ISIS will use this as a recruitment tool. They do this every time there's a big anti-Islamic sentiment in the United States. They sit there and they go, well, hey, the West hates Islam. Why don't you come over here and chill with us and then go blow something up for Allah and Muhammad? Now, I am a person who is non-religious, but I do not like the concept. I do not like the idea of banning people from coming here who are of a certain faith. I don't like it. Not one goddamn bit. Okay? Because back in World War II, all right, we blocked a lot of Jews from coming here that were facing really horrible situations in Nazi Germany, And as a result, a lot of them died. And after the war, there was that whole moment of, ooh, we done goofed on that one. So they created a displacement act to prevent this from ever happening again. I mean, Christ, even Angela Merkel contacted Trump and had to school him on what the Geneva Convention is. All right. And Trump has used what's happened in Germany and France with the Syrian refugees there as a reason for this particular backing. But as I said, we have entirely different systems. So it's not the same. But Trump, I don't know if he fully understands that or if he simply just doesn't give a shit. And it could be a bit of column A and a bit of column B. But he has responded. In fact, this is what he had to say. Statement regarding recent executive order concerning extreme vetting. America is a proud nation of immigrants, and we will continue to show compassion to those fleeing oppression, but we will do so while protecting our own citizens and border. America has always been the land of the free and the home of the brave. We will keep it free and keep it safe, as the media knows but refuses to say. My policy is similar to what President Obama did in 2011 when he banned visas for refugees from Iraq for 6 months. The 7 countries named in the executive order are the same countries previously identified by the Obama administration as sources of terror. To be clear, this is not a Muslim ban as the media is falsely reporting. This is not about religion, this is about terror and keeping our country safe. There are over 40 different countries worldwide that are majority Muslim that are not affected by this order. We will again be issuing visas to all countries once we are sure we have reviewed and implemented the most secure policies over the next 90 days. I have tremendous feeling for the people involved in this horrific humanitarian crisis in Syria. My first priority will always be to protect and serve our country, but as president, I will find ways to help all those who are suffering. Kind of smells like shit in here right now, because that's a load of fucking horse shit. All right, it is. It's a load of fucking horse shit, but this is Trump. This is Trump. And he's going to spew whatever the fuck it is. That was written obviously by somebody else, but it was written in his words. He probably added in there some shit, especially the tremendous part, because goddamn, that dude does not know any other fucking word. Look, here's the thing. Obama did ban refugees from Iraq for 6 months in 2011. Reason why is because it was discovered that 2 Iraqi refugees here in the United States were plotting some shit. So they did it discreetly as a way to basically vet the situation. All right. Jimmy Carter did the same thing back in the 1970s during the Iranian hostage crisis. Go watch the movie Argo if you want to get up on the gist of what happened. But that's why. There were a number of, it was a reason. There was a crisis at the time, and he was acting as a result to that crisis, targeting one country. Obama targeted one country. This is targeting 7. Make no fucking mistake. This is not about keeping up with the Obama administration and their identifying of terror nations and everything else. This is literally about drawing a line in the sand. That's what it is. All right. And Trump is doing it in a way that is very political. It's very much a dick measuring contest, and it's going to be used as a recruitment tool for ISIS. Is this the best way to combat terrorism? The answer, in my opinion, is absolutely not. It's not the best way to combat terrorism. All right. Doing it in this particular scale only further exacerbates the problem, because look at the protests. People out there are like, wait a minute, this is horseshit. And they're rightfully mad about this kind of stuff, especially the green card crap. That angered me. As a citizen of this country, that angered me. No, I'm not a bleeding heart liberal. No, I'm not a die-in-the-cast conservative. I'm a person in the center. I'm a moderate. And I believe at looking at things from all sides as rationally, as logically as humanly possible. What Trump did is neither rational nor logical. It will have long-term ramifications on this country that may result in the deaths of more of its people. Something he says he's trying to avoid. You want my honest opinion? Don't fucking put up huge defenses here. Take the fight to them. What, he talked to Putin. Put an action plan together and go after ISIS in Syria and take them out. That's how you got to do it. You got to take the fight to them. But trying to alienate legal residents of this country, trying to alienate tourists to this country, refugees to this country is not going to end well. It's not. People are going to push back against Trump one way or another, and it's going to end up with him either doubling down on the stupidity because his fucking ego goddamn commands it, or it's going to lead to further wars and conflicts right? Or a complete distrust in our administration, and a complete breakdown of just the basic fundamentals of democracy. All right, because you've got federal judges that are trying to overturn parts of this executive order. You have got governors of states like the state of Washington calling Trump out on his shit. You've got the people that are revolting against the administration, and we're just 1 week in. 1 week. I want Trump to succeed. If he succeeds, we all succeed. I want ISIS gone, because with ISIS gone, the world is a safer fucking place. But to do that, to do it well, has to be done in a way that is not going to anger our fucking allies. Because while Russia is powerful, and while Russia is a good one to have in the fight against ISIS, it's not the only one we can afford. We have to work with these other countries, work with these peoples to end terrorism. But drawing that political line in the sand in what can only be described as a world fucking wide dick measuring contest is only going to further make the problem worse. And those are just my thoughts on it. You could think totally differently than me. You could be all 100% on board with this, and I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with that. I want to know your thoughts, though. I don't want to dehumanize people. I'm not trying to call anyone out for having their thoughts or their opinions. Lord knows there's enough of that happening on Facebook right now. But if you have a better idea than what Trump has done, write it down in the comments. If you think what he's done is right, write it down in the comments. Have an actual conversation with somebody about your thoughts and opinions on this. Because that's how progress happens. We have to have discussions, not fire off tweets at one another, not fire off Facebook posts, not hide behind our keyboards and our monitors, but an actual honest-to-God discussion. And I think that, honestly, is what right now is dividing us the most, is the inability to have a heartfelt, meaningful talk with people through social media. And given the fact that our president, our commander-in-chief, is attempting to communicate with the people through social media, which is a way that is not going to be as effective as he thinks, is only going to just cause more of a divide. This is a problem that faces all of us. This is a problem that affects all of us. And whether we win or we lose, we're all going to feel it. And we need to work together. And the only way to do that is to talk. And I hope Trump is listening. You can already tell that to an extent he is. The protests got him to overturn the green card shit. But what are your thoughts?